everybody, good evening. Welcome to my channel again. My name is Nantali Faith. I'm happy to see you again. Today's topic, we are going to talk about my journey to Europe. It has coming to 9 years this year since I left Africa and came to Europe. In my imagination, actually never imagined that I will leave Africa and come to Europe because I didn't have enough money. I didn't know anybody here. So I just thought about it, but I didn't know that I could, at one particular time, travel from Africa and come to Europe. But then one day I was at work and then I overheard a friend of mine. She was a schoolmate. She was talking about like dating online and finding someone like a white guy who stays in Europe, in Western world, to marry you, and like that you can come to Europe. I actually didn't go dating because I wanted to come to Europe. I went dating because I wanted to find a white guy. Naturally, I was attracted to a white guy, but I didn't know where to find one. But it was really very good news to hear that I can find a white man online. So I went online dating and I met this wonderful gentleman. He fell in love with me, I fell in love with him, and one thing led to another, and we got married, and he brought me to Europe. Actually, before we came to Europe, I had to wait for 1 full year, but he was really very nice. He was communicating, he would send me some money for support, and I really was very lucky and grateful. Thank you. I thank you. You know yourself. Actually, after that, I came to Europe, and when I reached Europe, I went to Finland. In Finland, they speak Finnish. They don't speak English. I could not even go to shop. I could not do any shopping because I didn't know any word in Finnish. I had to use my phone to interpret the words. I was shopping wrong items, like these there are products that packed like juice, but they are actually soup, and I was buying them thinking that they were juice. So things like that was actually very challenging the first time. But eventually I picked up. I didn't want to learn Finnish. I was like, no, I don't want to learn Finnish. But then after some time, I was like, no, it is the only way I have to learn Finnish. So my husband then took me to a school where beginners go. It was like 20 kilometers from where we were staying. I started learning Finnish from like A, B, C, D, up to the time I became fluent. I had to study for 1 year. After learning Finnish, I had to go also while I was learning Finnish, I had to do like work practice in order to earn some money. First I went to practice with the kids, and I realized it was not my thing, and they changed me to another section of working with elderly people. So when I reached there, I really loved it so much. Sorry for that. I started practicing, and they were paying me. They were actually paying me very good money. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Finland. And from there, I got encouraged. My boss by then, she owned a care home. she encouraged me. She told everybody, teach faith, teach faith. They encouraged me. They taught me. They showed me things that I never even knew. And by then, I didn't even have any qualification. But they really loved me and they pushed me forward. And they really wanted me to learn to do this. So I did that. After learning some Finnish, I applied for school. And then I started studying nursing. Going for a nursing course, it is free, but you have to pass. There are a number of tests that they give you. The tests were not very easy, but I had to read. I read all the time. I was in the books all the time. I read a lot of books, and then I passed. We were 50 people who went to do the test, and then I passed. They only wanted 20. I was among the 20. I was so happy. I was so excited. So I started school. I started dancing. So right now, I'm a nurse. I'm a qualified nurse, and I'm happy. It took me actually a very long period of time. It took me 3 good years to study nursing, but I was determined to study and graduate, and I graduated. And this year in April, it's going to be 3 years since I graduated, and I'm happy for that. There's one thing that I didn't tell you. When I was coming from Africa, I didn't know how to drive a manual car, and most of the cars in Finland, they are manual. I was like, oh my god, what do I do? I could not drive myself. So I had to go back to driving school to learn how to drive a manual car. I went back to driving school, and tell you what, the driving school had nice cars. It had a Benz, Mercedes Benz. I was like, what? So I was there for a few weeks, and I completed my course and started driving myself. My husband bought me my first car, and actually that car got an accident, and it went off road. So I bought myself a second car because I was working, and I bought myself a third car. And my husband bought me a fourth car, and he bought me a fifth car, things like that. So all my life in Finland I was driving, and it was interesting because I could save a lot of time moving from school to work. I was studying and at the same time working, so it helped me. I was just calculating, like from school I just drove to work, and then from work home. So it was that. And one thing I didn't tell you, like the process we went through when we reached Finland, is we had to go to police first of all to register and to approve us to, my husband was interviewed and I was interviewed. So after some time I was given one year residence card. Yeah, and I was with it for 1 year. After that I got 4 years, and after that I got a passport. Now I'm a Finnish and I'm a Ugandan at the same time. So that was my story. And what is okay, one interesting thing in this my journey, it's not only one, actually there are many. I learned a lot of things in Europe. Like I learned how to take care of myself, like how to exercise and keep fit. My husband first took me to the forest to walk with him, just to walk, evening walk. Like we used to do evening walks together, long walks. And after some time I saw like, oh my god, this is not even good enough for me, because I was really very fat and I wasn't very healthy. So I started running, jogging, like that. So I picked that interest, picked that skill, and now it's just normal for me. I love it. And after some time I met a Kenyan girl. She was staying on the same village we were staying. She introduced me to gym. I didn't know what gym was. She gave me the first clothes that I wore in gym. In fact, to remember that girl, I still have one of the clothes that she gave me. So she introduced me to gym, to the instructors, and they showed me how to go about it, and it was really nice. I enjoyed going to gym. My husband introduced me to swimming. We would go swimming every like once in a week. Wow, it was amazing. It was amazing going with my husband swimming. Wow. And I learned that skill. I love it. So I use it everywhere that I go and find water. I'm like a fish right now. When I go in water, I want to go there. One other skill that I learned in Finland is cycling. The way Finland is built, like there are pathways for bicycles, and there are no cars, no pedestrians and things like that. So it was really very easy for me to learn. It wasn't very easy for me to learn how to cycle, but the help of my husband, he helped. I learned slowly by slowly, and I was also determined to learn. I went practicing in the fields like that. I fell down. I had accident with my bike, but then I I learned how to ride a bike, and now I know. So it's another skill that if I don't have a car, I can use my bike. Yeah. Um, what else did I learn in Finland? I think that is it. Yeah. So if you're out there in Africa and you would like to come to Europe and you don't know how to come to Europe, you don't have money or anything, something like that, I'm not saying that you should go to debt for like so that a man can bring you to Europe, but it's another way. You can find someone. It may not be a white man, it can be anybody who lives in Europe or Western world, and brings you to Europe or takes you in any other country. It doesn't have to be Finland, it can be any other country. So that's my story. And with that story, I request you to please like, comment, and subscribe. Please subscribe on my channel. I'll bring you so many good things about me, about myself. I love you. Take care. Ciao.